This episode of the What's Happening Delco podcast is brought to you by Delco Meets for Business. Check us out on Meetup, register, and attend one of our fantastic networking meetings, which we meet on the first and third Thursday at the Brick House in Ridley Park, and the second and fourth Thursday at the Upper Crust in Newtown Square. We look forward to seeing you there. What's happening, Delco? I'm Ricci, and welcome to the What's Happening Delco podcast. Today, I'm joined by Pete Ricci of Solstice Media. Pete, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much, Rich. It's great to be here. I really appreciate it. Here
is where we are to talk about Solstice Media. And what is Solstice Media?
Solstice Media, we're a full-service marketing, media, and advertising company. And we focus, we help all kinds of businesses, but our primary expertise is with restaurants and contractors.
How did you get started with that focus for helping people?
Well, so I've worked a lot of, I kind of went through college, bartending and doing tile and marble. And I liked the construction side of things. I like building things. I like working with my hands. And I really loved the restaurant and bar industry. And I remember I worked years ago for a company that had like Polo Bay and Touche, these clubs, and Montana at Front Market. And so, one day I just said, hey, let's have an event. Our Monday, Tuesday, Wednesdays are kind of dead. So let's bring in MTV was doing this unplugged. So let's do like an unplugged night. We'll bring in acoustic players. They'll bring their friends in. We'll have a couple of them. So we have double the friends. And I created this promotion and it was successful. And then we started getting the word out about it. And they had a little radio advertising budget. So I started helping them with that and doing more promotions. And I realized that, not only did I like that exhausting industry, but I also really liked the marketing aspect of it. So they kind of came together and went from there. I went into working for radio and for print advertising with Valpak, and just kind of learned everything about the marketing business and combined those two worlds that I like so much.
You've seen the marketing industry change so much over that time. You're talking about advertising on radio. And today, it seems like the focus of where to go to generate opportunity changes so drastically. Where are you looking to promote those businesses that you're working with today?
Well, there can be some radio or traditional advertising, like radio and newsprint and stuff like that, can still have some benefits, and some things still do work. But everything it's switched so much. Where in that world, you still have to ask people, how did you hear about us? Okay. In the digital marketing world, you have analytics. This is how many people called you. It's a lot easier for me to talk with a client and say, I brought you 156 calls. So if you're not closing those deals, you either don't have a good salesperson, your reps aren't answering the questions, your products or services aren't competitive, or they're too expensive, or there's all kinds of reasons. It shifts focus to maybe we need to do some sales training. Maybe we need to bring you in a sales training consultant. Maybe we need to have better people answering your phones. But those analytics and those just documented things, it helps me from like a billing perspective, because I can show people documented in print that I did my job. I delivered those customers to you, or potential customers. But then it also helps me help them by saying, hey, what are the reasons why you're not closing these deals? And how can I help you do that? How can I get your people who are answering these calls get a better grasp for, how to sell, how to close?
I appreciate your perspective on that. So many times it's about generating the lead, about generating the opportunity, but it's not capturing and transferring that into a sale. And that's what people are really looking for, whether it's a restaurant or an accounting firm or a car salesman or a real estate company. Generating that lead is golden, but it's what happens once you get it. And if you're not capturing, generating, and turning that into a check, then you're really missing the heart of really why you went out there to fish in the first place.
Yeah, and the avenues are different, and a lot of them work for depending who your demographic is, right? So if you want teenagers, maybe Facebook isn't the place for you, but with the ability to share between Facebook and Instagram and being owned by the same company, so you can post to Instagram and easily share and get some of that crossover, which is nice. Um, YouTube is a great place. People like to just go on YouTube and watch videos and go down that rabbit hole for a couple hours. And same thing with TikTok. TikTok, you're seeing, on one hand, there's people doing goofy stuff in front of the camera, and on the other hand, there's people doing fun stuff, but it's surrounded by product placement. And so you're seeing a lot of it's right now. TikTok is the number 2 digital platform. So it's kind of annoying that you got to hold the camera, straight up and down, when on YouTube you got to hold it landscape instead of portrait. But so sometimes I have construction clients that do before and after videos. I encourage them to do this, and I tell them, go around, do it landscape, and then go around and do a portrait, so you don't have those black bars on the side or on the top. That space, it could be a better visual experience for the person who's viewing it. And so taking these digital steps and figure out what works best for the client is really important. But organically, you might as well just put everything everywhere, because it's not costing you more to also place it on this forum or that forum. You shouldn't be hyper focused. Just kind of spread it out, distribute everything. You can throw a lot of darts, or you can make a bigger bullseye. So make a bigger bullseye.
That's a great nugget that you just dropped about the horizontal and vertical. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
New customers, existing customers, what can they expect when they work with Solstice Media?
Well, the first thing I do when I meet with them is to just sit down and listen. I bring a notepad and I ask them what their pain points are. I ask them what their goals and their dreams are. I ask them about their family life. I ask them about the mix of personal and business. So I kind of get a feel for what their limitations are physically, and what their needs are business wise. And then I try to, and then identify the demographics. So I don't make any suggestions on day one. I just kind of process it, write it down, go over everything. And then I'll send a client, a list of bullet points of things that I think we should do and the reasons why. And then I'll also, throw in, without hurting feelings, little critiques about what I think they're doing right now that they could be doing better.
Is there that consistent vein that it seems like businesses or companies are consistently doing incorrectly or could do better, that you automatically, or, hey, I know I'm going to look for this and I'm going to find it? Is there some things that kind of are standard items that people could be and should be doing better?
I think people are trying to do video, which is great, right? But the number one thing that makes a good video is good audio. It really does. And so many times people are not, and your audio is very clear and very good, by the way. But people have bad audio, and a lot of times it takes it away, and they're obviously reading a lot of the times as well. And you can see because they're looking up to the left, or they're doing here, and people don't always like that. So, it kind of comes down to know your business, know what you're going to say, keep it short and sweet. But people have a tendency to ramble, and people have a tendency to not produce quality product. And that's a first impression, right? So, if you have a poorly produced video going out there, and that's how you're trying to get new business, people's perception can be, hey, if he's doing such a poor job promoting himself, how is he going to promote me or service me or, sell me or things like that? So you got to be, it's pretty consistently, not everybody owns the equipment, but right now I have a cell phone in my pocket that takes better video than a camera I paid $5,000 for. So everybody kind of has the tool, to do this, get it lit up a little bit better, and, go from there. Just do a better job making a first impression. That is something I see a lot of people fail with.
Pete, who motivates you? Who inspires you?
My family. That's the big motivation, is to have a good family life. My wife, my 2 boys, have a good sense of balance. Pride in a good way, not being proud, but having pride in what you do. motivates me. I want to make sure that I'm doing a good job for the people that are entrusting their hard-earned money in me. My clients motivate me because if I can help them reach their goals, that's a great thing. And then I'm an advertising guy that doesn't have to advertise because they'll tell their friends to call me.
It's the beginning of November, and if you're not looking at what you're going to do to succeed in 2025, that's something you should really think about now. For those that are looking to bring on Solstice Media, somebody like you that can help them grow and expand and reach and achieve their goals for the coming year, how do they connect with you?
Well, they can go to solsticemedia.biz. They can go to, and there's different entities in that. I have a contractors page that's, with information on what I do to help contractors. And I have the restaurant consultation page, which is a huge part of the business and a part of the business that I'm looking to grow, like in 2025. I've worked with a lot of restaurants over the years, but that's, for me, that's very fun. And it's interesting to go in and see why people are having problems and just tear it down from the roof to the basement and look at every single thing, look at the food quality, look at the service staff, look at the training, look at the owners. It's usually the owner's fault when there's a problem at restaurants, and they're usually second generation owners. But, people can expect for me to just dig in deep, roll up my sleeves. Just last week, I have a construction client that couldn't make it down to Avalon for a job that he had to measure. I went and I measured 7 closets for him, just because he couldn't make it down here. And sometimes, I try to chip in and help. I've done things with a lot of clients, showed up and done. I even did some tile work for a guy last year because his tile guy backed out and he said, "Didn't you say you used to do tile in college?" I was like, "I did. If you got the tools, I'll come help you out." So you get a guy that's kind of like a member of the team and not just, okay, here's my retainer hours and I'm going to do that and then, keep it vanilla.
Pete, do you channel your inner Gordon Ramsay or your bar rescue persona when you're going in to help these people change and turn around those restaurants?
I really do. And I can't put the words on my website, but when I'm talking to potential clients, I always say I'm kind of like a bar rescue guy. And, so I go in blind. I meet with them off site, so staff doesn't recognize me meeting him or her. And then I go in blind and I'm just a customer, and I look and I watch and I take some notes, I take some video, take some pictures, and then I make a criticism or an analysis, and I go in and present them to the owner. And then, and that's paid, that little portion. And then they decide whether or not they want to put me on retainer. And so I'll go in, I'll look at staff, he'll introduce me. He'll say, "This is Pete. He's going to be with us for 6 months or 12 months, and he has complete authority over you." And that's part of my deal. Like, consider him in between the owner and the general manager. So everybody's got to kind of listen to what I say. But it's very good. Like I go in there saying, let's all make money. None of us get fired. Let's all make money. How do you make money? By putting out a better product, by putting out better service, by cleaning that. The first thing I do, I walk in the bathroom. If the bathroom's dirty, kitchen's probably dirty. In a space like that, and I just go. I go from there. There's a lot of theft, that goes into. People don't think they're stealing, but they're giving away, 10 bottles of beer to a customer, and they're charging them for 2. And they're like, "I didn't take money out of the register." Well, you kind of did. You didn't put it in. So there's things like that are commonalities, and you just look for them, and then you go to improve it. We work on menus. We work on food cost, which is a big issue right now because everything's expensive. So you work on food costing and the best menu that can work within affordable food cost. Instead of just buying scalps for one dish, get rid of them, but maybe have 3 shrimp dishes and, do crossover ingredients so you're not wasting and throwing things away. Just little particulars that, I dig in with them. And then usually after about 6 months to a year, give them back the keys and hope they open another place and they can use me in the future to help them open it.
I'm changing the name of this whole segment to Fabulous Nuggets with Pete Ricci. I mean, it's just, you keep throwing them out there and hopefully people are listening and saying, look, if this gentleman here has all this information, wealth, and knowledge, I need to bring him in because this is what I can expect to get more of. And look, sometimes as we all need help. We professional athletes, Tiger Woods, Michael Jordan, they all had coaches to help them for things that they couldn't see or to improve on. You're out and about and you're heading to one of your clients to measure some tile and you need a cheesesteak. You're having a craving for a cheesesteak. Where are you going in Delco for a cheesesteak?
Oh, man. I hate this question because, I'm chubby and I love cheesesteaks. So, I haven't gone to Delco Steaks yet, and I'm hearing a lot of raves about them. And it's right down the street from, where we meet every other week with your Delco Meets for Biz group. And I should just stop there on the way back and try that. I really do like Severa's because I'm an Upper Darby boy, so I like Severa's a whole lot. And I don't get a lot of cheesesteaks because I just years ago when I owned a place in Center City, we had a pizzeria and a cheesesteak, and I kind of had my fill of them, and I'm kind of a snob about them. And I don't want them with seeds, and I don't want them with Cooper Sharp. I want them with regular America and an unseeded roll, and that's not always an option. So, I used to like it with Cheese Whiz. And as a matter of fact, I had a production company called Whiz Wit for a while where we did Whiz Wit TV, and we did a bunch of like restaurant videos and stuff like that. And it was pretty fun.
All right, you're a pizza aficionado, so you took care of your cheesesteak craving. Where are you going for pizza in Delco?
Pika's. I'm going to Pika's.
You're out and about, and you need a convenience store option. Are you stopping at Wawa or Royal Farms?
Wawa. Royal Farms, they're, the only thing to go in that people say for is the chicken. And to me, the fried chicken's way too salty. So, I just love Wawa. They were here first. They do so much in the community. When I was on the board of directors at the Delco Chamber, we had the Wawa representatives on the board quite often. They really care about the community. Their outreach is great. And they're winning. They're winning. They're not just Royal Farms, but they're beating Sheets too. So they're beating the Sheets out of Royal Farms.
Pete, how do you describe Delco to somebody that's never been here or has not heard of Delco before?
We're passionate. We're irreverent. We'll hold the door for you at the Wawa, but we'll kick your ass in the parking lot. We're just really passionate people. I mean, look at the sports. Look at how, the Phillies broke our hearts this year and stuff. But I know a lot of people that ended up behind on their rent for 3 months because they took a little kid to a game they couldn't afford because it means that much to them. And you don't realize until like working a bar, how much a sports team doing well benefits your business. Because people come out and they want to watch it. They want to watch it in the community. So, Delco is it's a great place to watch a game. It's a great place to go and, have a couple of beers with your friends. I used to coach Little League. My wife coached soccer. It's a great community of people. I live in Upper Darby. So we're a very diverse community. And my kids had exposure to friends that they might not have had if we lived in Havertown where I grew up. And so it's just, the sleepovers look like the United Nations. And it was just a really cool experience. And the school gets a bad rap, but if you care just a little bit, the teachers bend over backwards for you there. So I've hope for that school district. And I've hope for Delco. And I think the county is kind of rebounding. I think it's getting stronger. My son was in Rome 2 years ago for an internship or co-op from Penn State. He's an architectural engineering major, and he saw a Delco sign hanging out of a window in Rome, Italy. And it's just you come down the Sea Isle, for like the chamber events that they have here to Mixer every summer. There's Delco flags all up and down in Sea Isle and Avalon. And it's amazing the pride that people, you'll have an Eagles flag, you'll have a Flyers flag, Phillies flag, American flag, Delco flag. It's awesome. It's awesome. We are proud people.
I can't wait to hear the answer of this question. You have friends or family coming in from out of town and you want to give them or take them to that Delco experience. Where are you sending them or where are you taking them?
Okay. So I'm taking them to Pika's for pizza. I am taking them to a Friday night football game at Upper Darby. I'm taking them to a great live music venue, like maybe Shri Punjab in Media or Tom and Jerry's in Ridley. So I'm kind of going to give them all that experience, and then I'm going to take them to the Clam Tavern, for dinner, because that's just such an amazing place that's stood the test of time. I wish they were my client, but they don't need my help. They're so good. Sometimes it's nice to just go in and have a great meal.
Strap it up, man. We're all over the place for your tour of Delco.
Yeah, they'll be tired at the end of the day.
Pete, is there anything we haven't spoken about today that you want listeners to know more about you or more about Solstice Media?
Well, I would just say that, I cover all facets of everything. So I can take video, I can take audio. I play in a band, so sometimes people want a jingle, so you can put music behind their stuff. I have full recording capabilities, so I can make them jingles that they can own the rights, and you don't have to be banned musically from wherever you're posting it. I do graphic arts, so I do lots of infographics with calls to action. I learned how to be very good at attracting people's attention when I worked at Valpak, the envelopes of coupons to come in the mail, where people flip through them and you have 1.3 seconds to get your message, to get them to stop on your discount. I know everything about the digital market space. AdWords certified. I'm great with analytics. Podcasts like this, promoting people doing things. So I kind of give you a little bit of everything. There's not much. I develop websites. There's not much that I have to sub out. If I have to write code, I don't write code. So then I'll bring in, a partner and have somebody write the code for them. But I can, bring you from, concept to creation and everything in between. I can help you with, whether you're starting a business, whether you're trying to reach, whether you're trying to establish your demographics, get you found. I'm very, very, very good at getting people found organically on Google just by every week putting something on your free Google listing, and just driving that and putting the correct keywords in. And I'm just very consistent and persistent with the stuff. And I'd say a big differentiator is that I do accountability calls with my clients. So we'll set up a time, Tuesday at 8:00 in the morning, whatever, works in your schedule, but that's a kept appointment. If somebody wants to meet you, you can't, because you have an accountability meeting. And then I just ask them, we talked about your goals last week. Did you do this, 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 and this? Why not? And all right, so now you have to do this, this, and this, and this week's goals. So you're going to be a little bit busier. But I just kind of, not shame them, just support them and say, if you do this, it'll work. And people kind of, they get busy working in their business, and they don't work so much on growing their business. And it's easy to lose sight of that. And you can hire somebody like me to help with that stuff. But really, you got to have skin in the game. You got to be the face of your business. You got to do some video once in a while. You got to let people know who they're not going to be dealing with me when they're doing business. They're going to be dealing with you. So you have to go out there and say, hey, I'm Rich Shane, and I'm a real estate agent, and I run this and I do that. And I want to help you, and I want to be the difference maker, in you getting a house, or you networking, or whatever it is your initiatives are, Rich. So, it's important for you to be out there in front of people so they know who they're dealing with.
You're Pete Ricci, and I am nominating you for the most fascinating man in Delco. And each time you speak, Pete, each time we interact, I learn so much more about you and ways that you're able to help people, your life experiences, what you do. Thanks so much for being a friend of What's Happening Delco. We can't wait to see you out and about, those clients, those businesses you're helping to exceed their goals, succeed in what they want to do, and look forward to seeing you again.
Well, thank you so much. And then if ever you're in the mood for a little bit of music, look up theoutsideshowers.com. That's the name of my band, The Outside Showers. And a great little acoustic band playing a lot of fun. Tunes and, modern folk and classic rock and all that stuff. So theoutsideshowers.com. As a matter of fact, I took an outside shower today, and it's November. I love it.
Shower away, Pete.
Shower away. Well, listen, I really appreciate you having me on. This is great. And I appreciate what you do and what Dawn does. And the Delco Meets for Biz is a great group. You know, splitting my time between here and there sometimes makes it a challenge to be there. But I've been, I think, 3 or 4 meetings now. And, you know, some of the people I knew before, and I've met a lot of great new people. There's a young lady named Sam who's a bookkeeper that lives down in Philly. We're meeting next week for coffee. And, you know, so I'm going to try to, you know, follow your guys' lead and get out there more, have some more off-premise things, get to know people a little better, swap some leads. So, you know, I appreciate you. And I think that if I'm nominated for the most fascinating man in Delco, you will be my running mate, brother.
Awesome. Thanks, Pete.
All right. Thank you so much.
Hey, it's Rich. Thank you so much for being a listener to the What's Happening Delco podcast. I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to learn more about the people and businesses in our community. I have been a real estate agent for over 25 years, working with first-time home buyers to last-time home sellers. As a listener of the podcast, my gift to you is a complimentary 1-year American Home Shield home warranty. This is for buyers and sellers that I help. If you're looking to move anywhere in the United States, I have you covered with an amazing network of real estate agents. I look forward to hearing from you. My direct line is 215-313-3777, or you can email me at rshaneremax@comcast.net. Oh, by the way, I am never too busy for any of your referrals.